to take the start. Martha just joins in. How lucky was she? We're ready to go green for the last time today. Up they go to turn number 1. Hilbrand Sargent up the inside. Carol Bash tries to round them all. Bash into second spot. The reigning senior world champion says to the reigning junior world champion, no, I'll have that place, thank you very much. Pedro Hilbrand, though, the Spaniard, is your early race leader from Bash. I think the Brit Tom Joyner's made another brilliant start. Hilbrand across the inside of the circuit. Bash in second, there's Sargent, Bent Fiscal. There is Tom Joyner. Again, the Brit, he's just dynamite when the light goes green. So, very treacherous conditions as the sun comes out here in Adria. The first of 24 laps coming into the hairpin. The CRG, we've already had a CRG 1, 2 and 3 earlier on today. Sun Yu Yang in the Ricky Flynn Motorsport kart has also made a good start, it looks like. As they come across the line for the first time. Joyner up the inside of Bash. The order is Hilbrand, Sargent, now Joyner, and Bash. Tiene, Viscal, Travisanuto, Lundgaard's made a great start. The Dane is up into position number 8 from starting 16th on the grid. There's Viscal. Travisanuto runs wide. Bash down the inside of Joyner. So the 2013 and 2015 world champions going at it. The 2015 Junior World Champion, Logan Sargent, the Americans showing them both how it's done. As Carol Bash in 1:01, the Cosmic Kart, retakes third place. The second lap of the race here at Adria. Joyner in 4th in the Zanardi kart. Then we go to Bent Fiscal, the young Dutchman for the German KSM Schumacher Racing Team. There goes Christian Lundgaard. They're side by side down through the Magny Course chicane. Fiscal is going to get a good run. The CRG of Felice Tieni, there he is. The Italian's not out of this one either. 103's up into 5th spot. Joyner around the outside, goes up the inside of Fiscal. Felice Tieni is also getting involved in this battle as well. This is turning into a great race. The track is going to dry. Oh, Fiscal's gone round. Fiscal spun it. Fiscal is out of the race. There is Christian Lundgaard taking advantage of it. The young Dutchman is out. Oh, another sensation. Bent Fiscal has done a superb job all weekend. He actually set the fastest first sector on that very lap that he spun, but he's tumbling down the order and he's out of this second round of the Euro Champs. Christian Lundgaard up into 4th or 5th spot behind Felice Tiene, just ahead of Lorenzo Travisanuto. There is Lundgaard. Just going through in the Ricardo kart. Behind Felice Tiene, the driver from Naples. How many thousands of laps has he done of the Sano circuit? The race leader continues to be Pedro Hilbrand, the Spaniard. In wet or dry conditions, he's got that CRG absolutely hooked up. This is lap 3 of 24. We still have 21 laps remaining. It is Hilbrand, Sargent, Bash, Joyner, Tiene, Christian Lundgaard. Lundgaard fighting there with Lorenzo Travisanuto. Martin van Leven in the Birrelat, just a spot further back. Fighting there with the Chinese driver Sun Yu Yang in the second of the Ricky Flynn Motorsport karts. In fact, Sun Yu Yang has gone through. Displaces Van Leven back a spot. Van Leven looks behind him. Only to find a gap back to Noah Millel, Francois Bechamel and Tom Bale. They're still 2 and 3 wide. They're lapping about 17 seconds off their qualifying time. There's not a dry line, but there is certainly a racing line forming out on the circuit. Travisanuto over the ripple strip ahead of Lundgaard. Sargent is your new race leader because he's gone through on Pedro Hilbrand. In fact, he's put 0.7 of a second on him as the American takes the lead with the fastest lap of the race so far. They're down into the 104, so slowly the track is drying out and they are getting faster. Sargent over the ripple strip. Pedro Hilbrand drifts it. He's in second spot, the Ricky Flynn Motorsport driver. One of the most determined young racing drivers you would ever meet from Florida in the United States of America. Very hard on himself when he makes a mistake, and that's very rare. And when he does learn from it. He's just a super turned on, determined young talent. And he leads here the second round of the Euro Champs. Back to Hilbrand, then it is Bash. Don't discount the pole. There's Joyner, Tiene, Travisinuto, Lungard, Sun Yang, Martin van Leven, Bechamel, and the CRG of Pavo Tonta. He's made a brilliant start. How about the Finn? Coming from the back of the grid to be outside the top 10 in the 11th spot now. Having got past the driver from the United Arab Emirates, the Welshman, Tom Bale. Clement Novalak, also the Swiss-born Brit from the back of the grid. In 5 laps, Clement is already up into position 17. You watch Hilbrand, very nervous. Look at the water coming off the side pods. That CRG kart. They go up in towards the Vegas sweeper. Sargent, Hilbrand, there is a line forming. It was still about 10 or 15 minutes too early to mount the Vegas slicks. No driver did it. In fact, they'd probably be lapped, to be honest, before they would see the advantage. It would have made it interesting. Sargent over the top of the chicane accelerates down the straight. They were doing about 132 k's an hour in the dry, not so in the wet. And down into the 103s, 104s. Bechamel goes through. There's Clement Novalak. The 113 Tony kart. On the charge is Clement. Up behind Lucas Legere and Noah Milel. Felix Arnold, the Germans, also made a great start. He's up in position 17. Doesn't sound like much, but he's come from grid number 30. Carol Bash, the reigning world champion in 1:01, still holds down 3rd spot. 1 minute 4 seconds last time. Hilbrand, a second behind Sargent. Oh, Hilbrand snaps it sideways. Under acceleration, these karts putting comfortably north of 30, 34 horsepower out. Over the 50mm rear axle. Direct drive, inboard rear brakes only. There are no more front brakes. And hasn't that livened things up? Francois Bechamel in the 135 kart. The Perilla-powered Cosmic doing a great job. As you watch the race leader, this is coming up to 1/3 race distance at the end of this one. We've still got, what, 15 or 16 or 17 laps remaining. 17, in fact, 16 and a half for Sargent. The question is, the track is drying out, so who is going to be able to read the conditions best? I can tell you going into turn number 3, there is almost a dry line. Still very, very slippery, just where they're going through now. But there is no standing water on some corners of the track. Just going through there, there's actually a dry piece of asphalt. There you can also see it. Incredibly greasy conditions. As Hilbrand goes down through the chicane, takes the traditional wet weather racing line that all these drivers have grown up with in their national series all around the world. Takes the high line, nowhere near the apex of the corner that they would kiss in the dry weather. Turns in, gets the rear end to jack nicely. One of the Tony karts we have lost is out. That's David Brinkman. So the German who has had the speed but not the luck this weekend. Brinkman falling down the order, and he is out of this second round of the Euro Champs. Fastest lap of the race last time round for Pavo Tonteri, the Finnish driver who's come from grid 27 to be in 10th in the CRG. So keep an eye out for him. He's done a 104.2. These wet weather tyres, even with the track drying, are not capable of doing the sort of speed that they do on slicks. Even on a dry track, obviously, when the track does dry out, they will burn up very, very quickly. They will be useless after this race, and the drivers don't care. A set of tyres mean nothing when a European Championship race win is on the line. The track's certainly starting to dry. Bash has got the Spaniard Hilbrand in his sight, guides that Cosmic Kart over the ripple strip. Logan Sargent, he's 1.4 seconds up the road. So now the sun is really starting to come out here at Adria International Raceway, the second round of the European Championships. We've just completed 1/3 race distance. Be assured this race will come alive, because you can see the dry line is starting to form on the track. They're now starting to build up speed and get quicker. Now they're starting to look for the wet piece of bitumen. You can see them going over to the right-hand side of the track. The tyres will overheat very, very quickly. They're trying to find a way to keep some life. There's still a little bit of a rooster spray coming off the Vega wets as they come onto the straight. Taimel Komensashi goes through. Javier Gonzalez also. Constantopoulos. Goes Marta Garcia Lopez. She has not had a good run. We saw her loop it in the formation lap. She's still down in position number 24. Logan Sargent, the American's doing a great job. We know he's got an increasingly strong following over in the US, where it's still early morning over in the Americas, where they're watching us live on CIKFIA.tv. Your boy from Florida is doing a superb job. Look, the sun is out and shining. Was it worth the gamble on the Vegas slicks? Well, I guess hindsight's a good thing. It's also irrelevant because they're all on the Vega wets. Logan Sargent starting to extend the lead. They're still struggling to get below the 1 minute 4 second bracket. There goes Tom Joyner, locks it up sideways down into turn number 1. Felice Tieni in 5th spot does the same thing. There goes Martin van Leeuwen, Francois Bechamel. So the gap is 1.7 seconds. Hilbrand starting to up the pace a bit. He's just done a fastest first sector last time round. Next time they start a lap, it will be exactly half race distance. The Vega wets, they're not designed for these sort of conditions. They will cope. They won't fail in any sort of mechanical way, but they won't give the grip needed for these sort of conditions. They're designed for standing water, and the track is drying rapidly here at Adria. We can actually see steam vapor rising off the circuit, which tells you that the track is not actually cold. There's the sun shining over Adria International Raceway. Sargent still from Hilbrand. Carol Bash is still in 3rd. Joyner 1 step off the podium. They still, again, dive to the inside of the track, trying to look for a little bit of wet bitumen to keep those Vega tyres alive. Felice Tiene dicing there with Christian Lundgaard. Now they're down into the 1 minute 3s. That's Logan Sargent. He's just done the fastest lap of the race. The sun is out and shining. This is half race distance. If they have not worked hard enough yet, they've still got to do exactly the same job again over the next 12 laps, the next 15 kilometres of this final here at Adria. Up into the Vega tyres sweeper. There is a dry line definitely forming. Do you think there will ever be a day where they'll be able to jump into the pits and make an F1 style pit stop? Who knows? We saw in practice, without any pressure, they comfortably change a set of tyres in 40 seconds or so, and that's not really rushing it either. That's just doing a quick, efficient job. Maybe the day will come when the karts come into the pits and make a stop. We see it happen in the Le Mans 24-hour race, but that is an endurance race. Martin van Leeuwen goes through, ahead of Francois Bechamel, Alexander Smolyar, Jean-Baptiste Minoer. Sargent continues to lead. He's down into the 1 minute 3s. 1 minute 3-2, almost into the 1 minute 2 bracket. They're starting to up the pace. So they've remained fairly stagnant so far. You can see him start to search for grip. The kart slides under brakes. There is only rear wheel brakes on these karts. These drivers would kill for a set of slicks now, but they have to cope for the remaining 9 laps. The remaining 11 laps, I'm sorry, on deteriorating Vega wets. They will burn up very, very quickly because it is also quite warm here at Adria. Logan Sargent, he's got a lead. Last time it was 3.2 seconds. It's now out to 3.4 seconds from Hiltbrand and Bash. They're having their own fight for the podium. Tom Joyner, the 2013 world champion, he's not out of this either. He's in fourth, ahead of Christian Lundgaard, who's come from grid number, so far back we can hardly see, grid number 17, the reigning junior European champion. He's in fifth spot, ahead of Paavo Tontari. Just because you saw the Finnish driver try and get past the Dane. This is the battle for just off the podium, or just on the podium, I should say. It is Hiltbrand who's under pressure now from Joyner. So Joyner, now the track's starting to dry out. So while we were watching Sargent, Joyner's actually gone through on Bash. So Bash is now off the podium. He was the round one winner in Zuera. Joyner, he's now up into second. They're side by side down the start-finish straight. Tom Joyner, the Englishman, now up into second. Hiltbrand back to third. Carol Bash watches on in position number 4. What a brilliant move by the Englishman. Puts the Zanardi kart up into second. Remember the tremendous pace he had at Zuera before he was crashed out on the second to last lap. Tom Joyner, he's in second. So the drivers from the English-speaking nations are first and second. Then the Spaniard, Hiltbrand, to be fair, he speaks perfect English as well. He's in third spot, under pressure from Carol Bash. Bash, now in fourth. He was second. He's off the podium. Joyner not only has put a gap between himself and Hiltbrand, but he's setting out after Logan Sargent. He's going to have to reel in almost 4 seconds on the American. As you watch Bash on the back of Pedro Hiltbrand, there is a dry line. The bitumen is bone dry in parts here. Hiltbrand looks over his shoulder. Bash in the slipstream down the straight. Locks up, oh, down the inside. Nicely done by Carol Bash. They're side by side down into turn number 2. Bash, the pole, the reigning world champion, holds on. Hiltbrand gives way while Bash was going through. Hiltbrand was actually looking behind. He's saying, is that all? Or is there more going to come at me? He's in fourth. He's off the podium. He's the Spaniard. Clement Novalak from the back of the grid, now into position 17. He's done the fastest lap, and look at it. They're lapping in the 60-second bracket, so it's taken some time. It's taken 15 or 16 laps, but now the speed is starting to come here at Adria. The Vega slicks won't do anywhere near, sorry, the Vega wets will not do anywhere near the time of the slicks as we look at a replay of Carol Bash down the inside of Hiltbrand, but they are getting quicker. Joyner's just done a faster second sector. Immediately topped by Martin van Leeuwen. Clement Novalak with the fastest first sector. Almost with centrifugal style force. They're starting to lap faster and faster and faster here at Adria. The gap is down to 2 seconds from your race leader, Logan Sargent. Back to Tom Joyner. There he is. He's catching the American. It's taken 17 laps, but now the race is starting to come alive. He's taken nearly 2 seconds out of the American in the last 3 laps alone. Bash is back into third spot. There is Tom Joyner. Here comes the Englishman on the charge as Clement Novalak sets the fastest lap of the race. The Brit is down in 13th, but has now gone into the 59-second bracket. Bash trying to keep touch with the leaders. He also desperately wants to take another win in 2016. There's Hiltbrand again looking behind, saying, do I have to defend or can I go after the leaders? He's losing touch with the reigning world champion, Carol Bash. He's looking for the wet piece and bitumen. That's Hiltbrand's problem. His Vega wets are finished. They are absolutely fried on this Adria circuit. There is definitely a dry line forming on the bitumen here as Tom Joyner down into the low 59s. The gap is down to 2 seconds dead. It's taken 3/10 out of the American that time around. There's Christian Lundgaard. The Dane is in 5th spot behind Pedro Hiltbrand. There's Travis Anuto, Francois Bechamel, Sun Yu Yang also, the race leader. Logan Sargent He will be determined to hold on to this psychologically, mentally. He's an extremely impressive young fellow. Very, very mentally strong. He looks behind him. Tom Joyner is coming after him. 6 laps to go, 5 at the end of this one now. Let's see if he looks behind him. Joyner looks for the wet piece of bitumen, as does Hilbrand. His tyres are fried. Christian Lundgaard, that's an unorthodox way to get some moisture onto the tyres. Just put the left rear Vega into the puddle, coming onto the straight sideways, WRC style. Ken Block would have been proud of that one. Of course, his dad, Henrik Larsson, as we mentioned, the 2000 European Rally champion. Obviously, Christian's learnt that move from his old man. Brilliant stuff here at Adria. Sargent now still leads. The gap is down to 1.2 seconds. You can see he's catching the American rapidly. Well, we told you this race would be a corker. Yes, the first 15, 16, 17 laps did take some getting into it. But now the race is starting to come alive here at Adria. The American Sargent, he's led from early on. The gap was 1.2 seconds. Tom Joyner is coming. Let's gap it for you across the line. It's down to 0.7. He's taken half a second out of the American that time round. His mother, Madeline, watching on nervously from their Florida home, willing her boy to hold on for another 4 laps. Sargent, Joyner, Bash is third. Hilbrand still holding off the challenge from Christian Lundgaard. The photographers are starting to gather on the start-finish line, but will they be photographing the American Sargent or the Brit Tom Joyner? Sargent's put in a good couple of sectors on this very lap, 3.5 laps remaining over the ripple strip. Tom Joyner in the Zanardi kart. Sargent for Ricky Flynn Motorsport in the Vortex-powered Alonso kart. He looks behind him. He will be able to hear the Perilla engine of the Englishman. Onto the start-finish straight, 3 laps to go. Joyner looks behind him. Bash is too far back to mount a challenge. Hilbrand still looking for the wet piece of bitumen to try and keep those Vega wets alive for 3.9 kilometres. Sargent locks it up. The gap is down to 0.5 of a second. I don't need to tell you. You can see it on your screen. It's not more than 2 or 3 kart lengths from the American back to the Brit. Sargent, you could almost say he's going defensive. It's much, much harder to lead than it is to chase. Tom Joyner, the Brit, he's on the charge. Makes an adjustment to the carburetor of that Perilla engine. They are starting to speed up a little bit, so he's opened the carby just a little bit on one of the jets to let a little bit more fuel through to that 125cc engine. He's now right behind him. Bash is not out of this either. Joyner all over the back of them. It was 0.5 of a second last time. Now the time difference is irrelevant because the American leads the Brit by only 2 kart lengths. He's almost in the slipstream. Sargent goes inside. Joyner up the inside as well. A brilliant run. Does the Brit get out with 2 laps remaining? Sargent, this is a nail biter. Bash is catching them as well. The reigning world champion, the 2013 world champion, and the reigning junior world champion. 3 world champions in the top 3. How good is this at Adria? Joyner has a big look down as they go up into the Vegas sweeper. He can't do it. Sargent is still holding him off. Tom Joyner, he's got the speed, but can he get by the American, who will make it as difficult as possible? Sargent up into the hairpin. The last lap board is being readied. Down through the Magny-Cours chicane. He will try and make that Alonso kart as wide as Homer Simpson's Canyonero for this last lap. Joyner, he looks behind him. He's going to get a brilliant run as they go up into turn number 2. Here comes Joyner. He tries the outside. Sargent blocks the inside. Bash is coming as well. Here comes Carol Bash. Logan Sargent, can he hold on for another half lap to take victory here at Adria? This is a nail biter. He will block the inside. Joyner goes a little bit high, but not as much as we thought. Bash in third and ready to pounce. Up the inside goes Joyner. There's no space. This is the second to last passing opportunity into the Vegas sweeper, but is he too far back? Yes, he is this time. Over the ripple strip goes Logan Sargent. Down the inside, Tom Joyner has gone through to take the lead. Bash goes through into second spot. Sargent back to third. Here comes Carol Bash. Up the inside, he's touched the back. Petro Hilbrand, can you believe what you have just seen? The Spaniard, oh, Petro Hilbrand has benefited to take the most sensational victory you have ever seen. Unbelievable stuff here at Adria. Hilbrand has won it. Sargent is second. Longard, Christian, from grid 17, has taken the third step of the podium. For the second time in 2 races, Tom Joyner has had an incident on the final lap. He does cross the line in 4th. Bash was 5th. Felici Tiene was 6th. That is the most amazing finish to a kart race. How good is the OK Direct Drive 125cc category? International karting is back, and you have just seen the most amazing finish to a motor race. Petro Hilbrand, not only has he won it, he was pumping the air with 3 corners to go. That was absolutely amazing. Let's take a look at the replay. We started in wet conditions. No driver elected to start on the slicks. They're all on the Vega wets. It was a fairly orderly race for the first 17 laps, and then it all came alive. Petro Hilbrand leading early. Bash, Joyner, the 2 world champions from 2015 and 13 respectively. Joyner, he made another brilliant start. This was Bent Fiscal. Bad luck for the Dutchman. We lost the KSM Schumacher racing driver early on. Then the track started to dry out. Joyner and Hilbrand side by side. Brilliant stuff. Bash, who would eventually go on to finish in 5th spot. That's valuable points for his championship when all the dust settles here at Adria. The figurative dust, because there is no literal dust here at Adria. Such other facilities. Nevertheless, Sargent defended brilliantly to the last lap. This was the move. Joyner going through, Bash following him. They tried to block down the inside. They came together. Look at Petro Hilbrand. Says, adios, boys. I'm on my way to victory. He pumped the air. What a sensational win. Sideways, opposite lock across the start-finish line. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Let's repeat for you. The Spaniard, the Spanish national anthem, will ring out around the Adria Raceway. Logan Sargent, the American, was second. And Christian Lungard, the Dane, was third to take the third step of the podium. Joyner was 4th, head of Bash. Felici Tieni, a good drive into 6th at the end. Pavel Tonteri from the back of the grid. Give some credit to the Finn. He was 7th, head of Martin van Leven. Lorenzo Travisinuto and the Chinese pilot for Ricky Flynn Motorsport. Sun Yu Yang rounding out the top 10. Also from the back of the grid, grid 31, Clement Novalak finishing in 11th after passing 20 karts. Only 14 seconds behind the race winner. I still can't believe it. Petro Hilbrand, with the most amazing finish, 2 corners to go, has won an unbelievable race here at Adria. Sargent, the American, was second, so it is valuable points for the American. And Christian Lungard, again, he's on the podium at the European Championships. We'll try and get our breath here.